and he's like, "Hey, man," he's like, I couldn't understand what he was saying at all in his message. It was like all one run-on sentence, and I was just like, "What?" And so he showed me the YouTube stream, and it was like busted. It was just like literally sharing the slide deck, and he'd been on for probably 10 minutes, and I was like, "What?" So now I'm like double checking all my YouTube streams. I'm like, "Are these working?"
I don't know, man.
I don't know. It was that solar flare that they keep talking about.
There's more than one of those. Oh, we've had like one of the highest periods of solar activity lately.
I know. I've been reading about it. I was like, man, that's kind of crazy. So I'm chalking it up to that, but really it's just technology being weird.
I
So,
love technology.
hmm absolutely. And we got Jack with us. What up, Jack?
What's going on?
Not much, man. We were talking about these solar flares.
Yeah. What about them?
They mess with
Oh,
technology.
yeah, they
Oh,
do. No, they really do.
wasn't there some big thing hiding behind the sun about a month ago?
I don't know. There's a
Some
comet
UFO.
flying through our solar system, but that's it's been going on for like since July.
Cool.
Ain't got to worry about those comments. Now,
It,
what is going on here? Did we send out alerts that we only have 30 people in here? That's abnormally low for this time.
yeah, I don't know. Ebb and flow, baby, ebb and flow.
I guess so. It's that internet, man. I'm telling you, something going on.
It looks my let's see. What I can see of the Telegram account, they posted that we were starting, so I don't
Oh,
know.
good. Okay. Well, that's good. Let me just make sure of that. Well, we got a big earnings week this week ahead, guys.
I mean, it's all relative. I mean, last week was probably arguably bigger.
Yeah, that is true. Most of the Mag 7 reported last week. We're still waiting on a couple though, right? Nvidia.
Alphabet.
And we got
Oh yeah.
Alphabet and Amazon this week.
Okay. Yeah, the market's down today. I guess Fed Bowman was talking this morning. So I don't know if he was the reason we sold off or what happened there, but I was like,
And
interesting.
and Nvidia is the odd man out on the Mag Sevens. They report like a month off of when everybody else reports, so they'll be at the end of the
Yeah,
month.
they have to save them to save the market.
Yeah, we'll see. But Amazon getting
Um,
punched a little bit today, and I don't
Broadcom
know.
too.
Yeah, we saw this whole I don't know. Social media was a blaze this weekend that Monday was going to be the biggest crash we've ever seen, blah blah blah, and then it was an up day. It'd
yeah.
be funny if the biggest crash was
Yeah.
just punted a day.
Well, you know, and yesterday I saw where one of the news headline I just scanned over that the stock market hated this Warsh guy or whatever, and
Yeah, I read that too.
was gonna go down. And what was it up last time I looked? 500 Dow. I
Yeah,
mean,
Hmm.
the, analysts in 2023, 22, 24, 25, they got it all wrong. Probably the worst in the history of Wall Street analysts. Now it's just news is wrong. Just plain up wrong. The market didn't react negatively to that guy if it went up 579 points.
that's people were like yeah, all day people were like the market's upset because of the Fed pick. I was like,
Yeah.
what gives you that impression?
We had that roundtable, and they asked me, if Federal Open Market Committee is more like the fear of missing cut committee. But I just said, and this is true, the stock market does not care about an interest rate, a hike or a cut. It could care less. It doesn't affect your mortgage. It's it's pretty much irrelevant.
Yeah,
And so all this watching and waiting for the Fed is a joke.
Yeah.
nothing is actually set on the Fed's rate. That's the funny thing to me. The prime rate that everybody uses is actually set by a coalition of banks. Sometimes they take into consideration if the Fed cut or raise the rates, but they don't have to. They can just do whatever they want to do. And it's not tied to the Fed rate at all. So it makes, I mean, and who's in charge of the coalition? JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all the big banks. And, I don't, and it's just whatever they decide to make it. And then mortgage rates aren't even set off the prime rate. Usually
No.
it's, it's slightly influenced by the prime rate, but it's not, they have to take into consideration what the risks are.
Yep.
If there's higher risks of default, then the mortgage rate's going up. If there's if there's lower risk of default, and a lot of the 30-year rate is usually tied to the 10-year treasury rate
That's it. That's the anchor.
because that's, a typical person lives in a house about 10 years and then they sell it. So you basically have 10 years to make your money, and then that house is likely to get flipped again. And then, so I mean, this is all such bullshit about the
Total.
FOMC rate, and the FOMC rate chases the 2-year treasury rate.
The whole thing.
So it's all just I mean, even the AIs, when you ask them about, this is the funny thing to me, is like you ask these large language models like Grok or Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever about whether the FOMC sets the prime rate, and it'll tell you, it'll lie to you. It'll say yes because of all the bull crap that's been fed to it. And it thinks that that's the way it is, and it's not. It's just not. It's just such a false narrative that's been parroted through mainstream media for so long. Even the president, Trump, believes that the FOMC controls the interest rate, but they don't. Like, they have almost no control over the interest rate. It is just
Yeah.
amazing to me.
I'll never
Yeah.
forget when my mortgage lender, because I just bought a house in September of last year. And I'll never forget when she explained to me, I was like, man, I hope I hope they cut rates. And she's like, well, it doesn't matter, Blake. She's like, they can cut rates all they want. She's like, but that doesn't mean they're going to magically lower the rates. And I was like, really? And I look at Mortgage News Daily every day. And I mean, the trend right now is actually slightly up. Like, it seems like I got a good rate when I bought. So
Yeah.
it's
The
crazy.
the risks of default are actually increasing, which is pushing mortgage rates higher. The
Yep.
risks to the market, to the banks, is elevated. So mortgage rates are going higher. It's
Well,
just,
they can't have another 2008 where they have all these subprime mortgage loans ever again. So I guess that makes sense.
um, I mean, that's, to me, it's just amusing how
Yeah.
you listen to the financial pundits and they tell you all this crap, and 90% of it's not even true. So anyway, all trading involves
Yeah.
a substantial risk of loss. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. I don't have a crystal ball. I got a bag of unicorn dust. I sprinkle it out there as much as I can, but it doesn't mean I'm going to get anything right. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. If you trade those things, you might lose money. In fact, 90% of people that trade naively do lose money. And if you want somebody to tell you what to do, you can hire somebody for that. But Jack and I, strong proponents of just learning stuff yourself. You're going to do way better in the end if you just take a vested financial interest in your own financial well-being. Welcome to the show, Market Masters. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Now, here I got to ask you, professor, your professional opinion, professor.
Yeah.
So we got Elon Musk, and he's gonna put SpaceX together with XAI, and that's
Oh,
one piece of news.
yeah, they
And
already did
he's
that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's talking about how launching a payload to build a data center in space
No.
using the sun's energy and the space vacuum to cool it. Uh, that's all good and well, but what about a comet, or what about, it's not secure? What if China just blows the thing up with a direct missile hit?
Well, okay, so space is incredibly vast. There's a lot of space in space. So there's a lot of places out there you could put this stuff, and it'd be hard to reach and hard to get to and hard to, I don't know. I feel like it's, yeah, he could piss off China and they could attack it, but he's probably going to sell stuff to China and they would have a vested interest in not attacking it. So,
Yeah.
he's kind of the cheese stands alone type of guy. He didn't work for the U.S. government. He doesn't work for China. He didn't work for Europe. I mean, he just kind of works for himself. So I don't know. I don't know that anybody would have a reason to try to go after him necessarily. And they're looking at building like a essentially like a magnetic railgun type launcher to launch these satellites out into deep space and build a constellation of them sitting out there between the sun and whatever, and use laser communications to beam stuff back. And I don't. I mean, the grand plan. I kind of outlined this. I've outlined this for a couple of years that he's basically building all the pieces he needs to create other civilization. In fact, I think the tunnel boring machines, those don't get much um, news or, I think the tunnel boring machines are part of a plan to build the underground transportation system on Mars.
Wow.
I think he's practicing here on Earth, but I think he really plans on building the underground, on on the moon and on Mars. You can't just walk around. You gotta, if you're gonna travel, you gotta be underground in a, secure environment where you can breathe. So I think he's, practicing the tunnel boring thing here on Earth so that he can bore these, transportation tunnels on Mars and on the moon.
Wow.
Now, do you think he'll ever be able to bore a tunnel on the sun?
No, because the sun is not, there's no firm, there's no, the,
Don't take
the
me seriously.
sun is a ball of gas. Like
I know. I
it's
know.
compressed gas. So you can't even stand on the sun. If you could survive the temperature, you would just kind of like go on through, like you would kind of bounce back and forth until you stopped in the middle. That's somebody asked if you bored a hole all the way through the earth and you jumped into it, what would happen? You would kind of like pop out the other side and then you would get sucked back and forth, back and forth, back and forth till you stopped in the middle. Yeah, it'd be kind of crazy.
That would be what a ride that would be.
Your guts would probably come out your eyeballs before you stop though.
Yeah. That'd be fascinating to see a data center in space using the space vacuum to cool it and the sun to power the electricity. That would be amazing.
Yeah, it's a non-trivial problem because, there's no the vacuum of space, the only you don't have any actual molecules. There's no air, there's no water to actually cool things. So you have to use radiant heat, and but the radiant needs to radiate the heat to other particles, which there is a void of in a vacuum. So a vacuum is actually very insulating. So it's a difficult problem to try to do this. And on one side, you've got the sun, and you got like 300 degrees of heat, and on the other side, you've got almost 0 degree Kelvin. It's like negative 300 and whatever degrees Fahrenheit, and that's a huge temperature differential between facing the sun and away from the sun. So it's definitely a challenging issue, but I don't think it's anything SpaceX couldn't handle because they already make stuff that goes to space. So
Yeah, that was the other thing that was amazing that they already had serious revenue that I didn't know SpaceX did.
yeah,
It's going to be a kind of a different situation now.
yeah. See that somebody was asking me or my kids were asking me last night what I thought about it. I was like, it kind of be the perfect scenario where Elon's been very vocal about the fact he hates or dislikes the corporate structure, the bylaws of Tesla. And maybe this is his plan to build an entity big enough to absorb Tesla into it and take it private. And then, private companies aren't usually the subject of monopoly breakups either. So it could be, his attempt to get all this out of the public eye instead
Yeah,
of going public later with SpaceX. Maybe he doesn't.
right, right.
And the public, the preliminary IPO they filed was only to raise $50 billion, which is a very small amount of cash, really, compared to the $1 trillion valuation that everybody was talking about.
Yeah. In June, we'll see if that happens. And looking at TSLA or TSLL.
Well, TSLA now has those daily option or the 3 times a week
Yeah,
options. And I
yeah,
know you wanted to talk about the
I,
opportunities present there.
I did for both calls and puts, but it's going to require a little bit of math because this is the same question that was asked when weekly options came out. Uh, is it more profitable to sell one monthly option or four weekly options? And you got to do the math. Not every stock is the same. So that's kind of the issue right now is does it make more sense to sell an NVIDIA call Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? What day of the week is the best? And what happens if you wait?
Yeah, and then all the tools aren't like all these tools have been built and as we came along, we only had monthlies and a lot of tools were just built for monthlies and then we got weeklies and we've had weeklies for, over a decade now and a lot of tools have been adapted for the weeklies and built while we had weeklies. But now there's very few things that have dailies and there's very few tools that are built to take into consideration the dailies. And a lot of these charts that we talk about with the gamma or the gamma, the IV and stuff like that, it doesn't even go down to like what's 1 day or 2 days. Yeah.
Exactly.
So a lot of these tools don't even measure the volatility down fine enough for you to even be able to make the decision.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to do the math yourself to figure
That's the
out.
hard part. Even PXO doesn't take into consideration these 3 time a weeks.
Yeah.
So how do we do? What's the long form, Professor? Let's go through it.
Yeah. So
The question is, folks, which do I sell it daily? Which would I make more money if I do it 3 times a week or if I do it once a week? And here's how we're going to solve that question.
and there may not be a universal answer.
No, probably not, but it'll be a good guide.
And it may not stay the same for each ticker either. Like it may, like this week or this month, it may work for Tesla to do it 3 times a week, but then by June, that may not be the case anymore. So it's one of those that you have to reevaluate this regularly. You can't just, a lot of people like to put their head in the sand and not work, but that's not the way the market is. It rewards people that work and it takes money from people that don't work. So I digress there. So what are we thinking, Jack? What do we want to compare?
We probably want to compare the same strike. Well, it'd be a little difficult. Same strike over a week's period.
All right. Well, right
Taking
now,
we sold. Well, Monday would be the best day to do it because then you could really look at
let's
that
see,
Monday,
we can
Wednesday.
look at 1 day out right here for like a 405 put. And right now paying 32 cents for 1 day. And if I don't start taking some notes, I'm gonna have a hard time remembering all these.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna write this down here. So right now we have 32 cents for 1 day. That expires tomorrow. That's a 405. I'm just writing this down on real paper
Mm-hmm.
for right now. Now, if we jumped out a week for that same, basically we would have to be looking at next Wednesday. That's the 11th, not the 9th. So 8 days. Look at the same 405. Pays 340. Three, was it
335.
I got too many
On the
things on the
big-
order here. 405, paying 340 if you got the mid. And that's 8 days. So dollars per day on that. 32 cents for 1 day. Bring the calendar over. So that's pretty easy. 32 cents is 32 cents. 340 divided by 8 days get you 42 cents per day. So it's actually richer to go out a week right now. But if you could do 32 cents Wednesday, Friday, Monday, and Wednesday again. So if you get 32 times Wednesday, then you could get it Friday, then you could get it Monday again, and then you also get it Wednesday times 4. That'd be $1.28. So yeah, playing out a week has a better return right now than playing out 1 day.
I thought so too. Same thing with AVGO.
That's interesting.
So yesterday, I couldn't resist. I sold I'm thinking about with AVGO to do it 3 times a week because I sold the 335 yesterday that expired yesterday, and I haven't done one yet today. But tomorrow I'll probably sell another. These were calls. I'm sorry. I sold a 335 call.
Yeah.
It's my long position, and it expired worthless. Picking up $40, like you say, beer money trade, same type of thing. It becomes like daily options, 0 day to expiration, 3 times a week.
Now,
But that one paid more than going out 2 days.
what may be interesting here is if you took and split up your chunk of stock, like if you had 300 shares of
Mhm.
AVGO, and today you jump out 8 days and sell that 335. Then tomorrow, you just sell one of them, not for the whole 300 shares. Then rock along 2 days or one day, wait till tomorrow, and then you sell the 8 day out, or the Friday 335, and then wait another day and then sell the Monday. And then when your Wednesday expires, or rock along to next week, when your Wednesday expires, you sell the next one out again, and just keep rolling them out ahead. And then you have daily cash, essentially daily cash flow, or 3 times a week cash flow. You're getting the bigger bang for the buck on the weekly, the 1 week out, but
That's
you're getting it several times a week. And then you
what
could
if
also adjust your strike where you've actually got the exposure.
I think I'm going to do that. Uh, Waterfall income, right? Three
Yeah.
times a week.
It does take a little more active management, but that seems to be where the premium is right now, is not in these, not playing super close to the vest
No,
here, but actually
no.
playing out about a week, but being able to do that out a week, 3 times a week.
I thought the daily yesterday would be priced higher than it was, but I didn't think it hit 335 that day, so I just took whatever was there. But yeah, a little less now. You could probably do the 330 and get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, on this one, it's the same deal as what was on Tesla. Like that 335 for about 8 days out is way more than if you did 4 just 1 day out options. Yeah, way more. That's just crazy.
It is crazy. That's why as soon as I did it, I thought, well, this doesn't really add up because I was trying to think, well, if you took twice as much, it should be twice as much for Wednesday, or at least
Yeah, these are actually,
messed up.
there's actually an underpricing or something going on here, because this doesn't have earnings, or I mean, earnings is down here.
Yeah. Stock's getting beat up like you've been talking about for weeks, and I'm still in it, buying more, but
Funny enough,
I don't listen to
funny
anybody
enough,
on here.
JT's right again.
Oh, can you believe JT's right again and JC's wrong? Wow, shocking. But again, I got a long-term view, so I don't care about a couple $40 swing. The professor strikes again. Yeah, professor had it even going lower, I think, filling in that gap, 300, right? 303.
Yeah. Down to, I was cautioning that we could see this
I've been
come
more
on
like
down.
Ginger. You've been more like the professor if we're on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, I feel like I'm more like Gilligan, but
I feel more like Marianne. So what are you gonna do?
I just get lucky sometimes and happen to be in the
Yeah,
right place at the right time.
yeah. So you got this going to
Yeah,
312.
300 could be the base, the bottom here, maybe. I feel like there's going to be nice round number support there if we dip down
Yeah,
in there.
I'm loving it. Still's paying the dividend. Got a high dividend rating. Got great cash flow. Good jockey. Yeah, I just
This
look
is
at
one of
it.
the AI darlings, though. So once the mood kind of flips back around again, this one's going to take off.
Yeah, it is. I'm not worried about it at all. Everybody knows I'm long, just in full disclosure. I'm long. I do puts on it, all of that stuff, calls, everything.
And
So that was
then,
the first one that I looked at for these weekly calls. It's almost a little bit too much for me to digest when I got a lot of these stocks that now have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and PXO doesn't help. They're not loaded into PXO. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to take them. I mean, it was kind of just sprung on us. They said, "Hey,
I know.
here in 2 weeks we're going to have these," and then, "Hey, next week we're going to have them," and then, boom, we have them. And it's going to take a little bit of time and effort for everybody to catch up, I think.
They got great open interest in volume, though. Really great.
Oh,
Great liquidity.
that's
This is
encouraging too. That they might actually build these into daily options.
That would be awesome. But again, you need a tool to can analyze that quicker for you. To just because I got reliant on PXO in order to just tell me what to sell. Like, don't make me think. I just
Yeah.
type in which goal I want, ROI, and it tells me which strike. Now I gotta get the calculator out, and
And I'm sure you can send them a note and say, "Hey, can you add the daily options for these?"
they'll get caught up. It's just the analysis of it is a lot more work now without having any tool that does it for you.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a lot more work to keep track of that many more expirations too. So,
It is. I used to write them all down. Like mostly everything I would do this week would be for Friday. Now I got all kind of stuff in here.
well,
4, yeah,
what's
2,
interesting that they only go out 2 weeks too. They've only got the 3 times a week out
yeah.
2 weeks.
That shouldn't be the case either. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to make a market for this stuff too far out. They want to
Because
wait.
like XSP, look at this. I mean,
Yeah, all the way.
all the way down through here, every day out for 2 months, not just 2 weeks. And then you look at SPY, it's like every day out here.
Yep.
Oh, they've got 2 weeks on SPY. Interesting. And then, you look at GLD, and this has had it for a while. They got they actually 2 weeks. Yeah. So 2 weeks seems to be about the standard on these.
Then you got to go
Interesting.
back to the weekly. Yeah. Yeah, the daily will be good, but it might just be there's not much pricing action difference between one day to the next.
And I think that might be why these ones are juicier, is because they're on the front edge. They haven't been priced appropriately yet.
Right, right.
They're the newly created ones.
Yep. And 8 days out, you're still everybody should know that time decay has the most effect in the last week of an option's life. So those 8 days out are probably priced the highest relative to having the most decay.
And they're
Those are probably the best, right? And we can't even look at that IV graph anymore.
Yeah,
It's off.
let me pull up another tool though. I have another one that might work.
I haven't tried option strat yet. I like that one.
Let's see. Yeah, like I said, this is new for everybody, so like these tools haven't been adjusted yet, I don't think, to take into account all of this, all these extra new options. This wasn't a thing, so um and people are like, why don't the tools work? It's like, because nobody knew the market was just going to spring this on us, and we have 2 weeks to, it takes longer than 2 weeks to build a lot of these tools. Even if you're using AI and stuff, there's just a lot of things you got to take in consideration.
Yeah, especially because AI just scrapes data. It doesn't create anything new.
All right, how do I pull up
Mike W
options?
says FinViz is great for this,
Mm,
but I
yeah,
don't know if it would tell you
let's see.
what the ROI is like PXO does.
This thing has a button here somewhere where you can see the IV curve. There it is, IV constellation. Turn it on. Yeah, all right. Let's see. AVGO. Yeah, there you go. Interesting how they show a higher IV, but that's not really,
That's not that's
it's
not
not accurate, because we were already doing the pricing and it's better on the 11th than it is on the 4th. So even though it shows it on here, it's not actually accurate. Like I
that's
said,
a yeah. This just goes to show you sometimes the market doesn't even get it right. But I will tell you this:
But
watching those,
this is averaged across all strikes though, so we may have found an anomaly when we on the particular strikes we were doing. Just saying that, just throwing that out there. And then this one's underpricing volatility for Tesla. The 30-day volatility has been higher than the implied volatility is pricing right now. Interesting.
I would not want to be an options market maker these days. Too much, too much data coming at you.
And then you got people like me sitting there trying to figure out how to exploit it all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Wow.
10 trades this morning.
SLV implied volatility is like 130.
Yeah, yeah.
Whew.
This is not going to hold.
And I don't have great volatility crush trades, but if you could do a volatility crush trade, SLV has got volatility that's going to get crushed. Right, this is not going to hold up.
Nope, neither is that price.
And let's see, Google has extra. Wow. Yes, that's because of the earnings this week.
Tomorrow, I did a credit spread trade in that thing again this week.
Amazon has earnings this week. Yeah, look
You
at
know,
that. Earnings, this expiration before earnings, that expiration after earnings.
yeah, yeah, and now wild. People were asking me about why would you do a credit spread trade on Google during an earnings week? And the answer is because I can get one set up way outside the market maker expected move.
I don't know if you saw this, but they, since Google announces earnings on the 4th, they don't have an expiration for the 4th.
No,
They're not going to have options expiration on the actual earnings day.
that's crazy.
So any of these new ones, the Mag 7s and AVGO, they will not have options that expire on the earnings day.
Oh, wow. Well, they'd make a lot more money if they did.
Yeah.
They'd get traded the heck out of those. I mean, that's just like with the AVGO trade yesterday. I was looking at it, I'm thinking, just eyeballing it, it's not going to hit 335. I'll sell that call right there. And this is what I'm saying. If you get something like that close to a buck, 50 cents or more, that's going to expire that day and it's already out of the money, that's the fastest drop in an option price I'd ever seen in my life. The closer the clock ticked to the close, that thing just, that daily option just went from 50, 60 cents to nothing.
And it's quite interesting that.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a a beer money trade. I mean, you could do this,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, as long as you had the shares, you could do them on the upside, and if you
Yeah,
didn't, you
I
could, if you had the
do.
cash, you could do it on the downside too.
Well, I got 901 account. I think I'm going to do what you said here. I'm going to do three, 8 days, 10
Yeah,
days. I'm going to set up a rolling schedule.
yeah, I think that the way I'm looking at it right now, picking up those new contracts as they come onto the market might be where the most premium is.
Yeah, but I got to raise the strike a little bit each time. I wouldn't want to do the same strike across that week.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing you have to reevaluate every day based on where it moved, and
But you got to
as it,
do it ahead of time or you won't get any cheese.
yeah. Well, I
Can't
mean,
do that early.
it's you just got to kind of look at it like where do I think it's going to move today? The price could drop $10 today, and
This
then
thing could
tomorrow
go
when you come
crazy.
in, you'd have
It's up
to
14. Yeah.
to get the same price, you'd have to. So it's a trade-off. Do you do the whole block of 900, or do you spread them out and try to get the bigger payday and just keep that cash rolling in?
I think I'm going to do a little bit of all of it until either this market settles down or I've settled down and found out how to do it. But I don't have a clear path on that, so I'm just going to throw them out there and some puts as well, and see which yield I get the best ROI in over a couple weeks. Then I'll know I'll have a better handle on it.
And
But
that's the
this is
thing,
giving everybody a huge opportunity.
and that's what we're saying basically, Jack. We without saying it, that's kind of what we're both saying is that there's no way to know which way's the better without testing it.
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to have to test it. I'm going to have to test some stuff, and and the market's probably going to change a little bit. This is brand new for everybody.
Yeah,
It's not
I think
like
so.
it's not like this is like was in a different market and it came over to this market and we know how to do it based on what happened over here. This is brand new for everybody. So everybody's going to be trying to figure this out. And anybody that tells you they know how it works is just
No, they
puffing
don't
at
know.
smoke.
No. The basic principles and concepts I love, people, is that unlike anything else I've ever seen in business, you can sell an option and have it expire worthless. The only other thing I know you could do that with is produce and flowers and food that'll expire worthless. But in the business world, to be able to make a contract, sell a contract, a call option, the contract is I promise to deliver at 335 or whatever price, I'm getting paid to make that promise. And that contract could go to zero value that day. That's amazing. It used to take a month for it to go to zero or a week. Now this is crazy to see something you could sell now have value, be no value. That's a good business.
And I've been doing these NASDAQ trades for quite a while where I sell credit every day. Yesterday I did a set of contracts. Friday I did a set of contracts. I I do these credit spreads every day out here and just make a little bit of scratch in this account.
Mm-hmm.
And this these daily options that expire, and I jump on them at yesterday I jumped on it right here at almost 1 o'clock. Right after I got off the show, I went fishing, and when the market expired, when it closed at 4 o'clock, these were done. There's no extra innings. There's no extra time. As soon as the
Now
market
wait,
closes,
wait a minute. You went fish. You actually did something.
I went fishing for money.
Oh, I thought you quit trading and went fishing.
Went fishing for money, baby.
Oh, okay. Wow, you so shocked me there for a second. Okay.
Now it was like 19 degrees here yesterday, Jack. There's no way I'm
Okay.
going fishing.
Okay. All right. So you went fishing in NDX. All right. Back on track.
Yeah, fishing for market money, and I sold this one right here, and I bought one to cover myself, and 3 hours later, booked $650. I booked it when I
Nice.
got it, but these expired out, and I kept $650.
That's no $20 trade. What are you doing?
Well, I did it 13 contracts, so they were actually $50 $50 a pair is what I picked up.
That's more than beer money.
It's starting to be adding up to more than beer money. And I've been doing it. This is, I think yesterday was 75 days in a row, 75 market open days in a row that I've collected this money. And this is the result. What happens here is this chart right there. That's what happens when you just collect a little bit of money every day the market's open.
With a high probability trade, you should say.
Yeah.
Odds are so stacked in his favor on this thing, it's ridiculous. So the payout doesn't look high, but the odds are so high.
Well, I mean, it really adds up too when we go look at the symbols here. And you see I've done 168 of these trades, and it's paid me out over $20,000. Just collecting, $50 a contract. People are like,
Without ever touching the stock.
well, there's no stock to touch there either.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, that's another good thing is, it's very clean.
IndieXP is just IndieX. Robinhood calls it IndieXP for some reason. It's just IndieX. It's the PM settled daily options. They show up as IndieXP on the platform. So it's just these right here. When you type in NASDAQ, it's the normal NASDAQ 100 index. There's nothing to buy. There's no bid and ask because you can't buy it. Right? There's no shares to buy. It's cash settled. It's a European style option. Just like trading SPX, if you were to do that, these show up as SPXP. It's the PM settled SPX options versus the AM settled. These are historically, these are the normal SPX options. So on IndieX, historically, these AM ones are the normal options. The PM ones are the IndieXP options. So when you see IndieXP show up on here, it's those PM settled, which means Right when the market closes at 4 p.m., that's it. Cash settled at that price. They're not futures.
Nope.
They're cash index options.
Well, you want to walk them through the setup?
I did that on Friday when you weren't here.
Oh,
So
okay.
Blake probably has the replay link for that, but
Yeah.
it took me a whole hour to go through the whole thing. So
Okay. Well,
I
we'll
went
save
through
it
it
for
in, I went through it in pretty great detail. So if anybody's
good.
missing out on that trade or feel like they want to know more about it, and I post them on X every day when I do them. So
Very
anyway,
cool. How about, let's see. I got a bunch of new stuff today. Got ASTS 92 put I sold.
that was just hovering right there.
I like this one. 92 put.
Hovering.
I'm loving it
92.
for Friday. I likes it. I'll take if I here's the thing with this one, folks, is that if I get it at 92, I'll take it. So I'm not concerned at all. I like the stock. I'm going to stick with it. It's got a lot of good action. I love the way it trades. Space, man, final frontier. Then the other one I put on today was Rocket Lab. I sold a 69 put.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for that to come on back down to the roadmap line
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, that might be a little close 69, but it
Yeah,
paid pretty good.
I can see that one
And
coming back in this zone right there.
again, I'd be fine with taking it at 69 and having it go to 60. That wouldn't bother me a bit. And then I did some more fly. I got I sold the fly 2550 call and I sold a buttload of 2250 puts.
I can see that one going to 2150.
Yeah. Again, I'll take it. I love the way this one trades. Premiums are high. Uh, again, it's space. I'm kind of playing it.
I traded it here and here on these two dips, and I left it alone. But if we actually touch this, I might be willing to go again.
I can't stay out of this thing.
I have to think about it. Like
I cannot stay out of it. I don't know. Fermi, I went back onto Fermi.
this is the thing that spooks me out of this one is this right here, this rejection of the gap. Now, if we hold up here and we turn back higher again, then it's looking like we might bust through the gap. But I am not convinced that's the way it's going to go down yet. And then Fermi, I went after this for 2 weeks, but I don't like the way it's rainbowing off here.
The thing is, the options pay so much.
Yeah, this
750 puts I just sold.
Q's just dropped below 616. So what I see right here on Fermi looks a lot like this.
Terrible. Yeah. Like this is the leading the well, the thing about this is I know you don't consider news or the bigger theme, but this is all tied to, the Bitcoin stuff,
Well,
blockchain, all that crypto, and it's just got a negative. People are sick of it. They don't even know what it's going to do.
well, it's partly that, and it's partly the Clarity Act got punted, and the banks, JP Morgan, Bank of America, they've come back at the what's not I got so tied up in the Clarity Act, the whatever you call it, the other one they did back in July, where they required these guys to buy treasuries.
Oh yeah, that stablecoin thing.
Yeah, the Stablecoin Act. The one they passed back in July, the banks are rallying or lobbying against Congress to repeal that act they passed in July, which then opens stablecoins up to get punished, and that's creating regulatory uncertainty in the stablecoin market.
So they're
And
saying that they don't have to buy, or they don't want them to buy treasuries as the stability to the coin.
the Genius Act, that's what it was called.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what they're saying is they don't want them to be forced to buy treasuries and then be able to pay that out to anybody. They don't want them to be forced into making more money than the banks make.
Well, they got to buy something for stability. They can't just use
And
their
then,
own
that's
money.
the whole thing. They think that I guess the argument that I kind of read was that the banks feel like they should have to sit on a cash reserve, just like the banks do, instead of having being forced to buy treasuries.
Yeah, that you know,
But
yeah.
I I, I don't know. I don't.
They don't have customers, so they don't
Yeah,
wouldn't need to sit on a dollar. They could sit on a T-bill.
it's not like you know the the end result of these guys aren't doing loans. They're not in a business where they
Yeah.
can do
Right.
loans. So I guess the argument from the banks is that this should be a business where it doesn't make any cash, but that's not. Instead of being forced to buy treasuries and generating cash and doing it more consistently than banks do, and being stable. Stable coins are stable. Like that's the whole point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what's
Well,
going on
the
in the background is that they're trying to do away with the Stablecoin Act that got passed. They're being lobbied against, and then you've also got the instability in crypto and a big question mark. Like, is it all just a big Ponzi? And I don't know.
yeah, crazy stuff.
Everything, I gave you a picture yesterday that you agreed with, and it goes back to exactly what we've said over and over and over on this show. For anybody that's new here, the economy, when you have higher prices, it turns away buyers, right? Higher prices get lower demand. That's the economy. Stock market, higher prices bring higher demand. Completely opposite. And tons of people were buyers of Bitcoin at 100,000. But now that we're down here at 70, 80,000, the market is turning sour. Here we are at 75,000 again today. And we may poke down to 72,000. This is the craziest thing to me is people aren't bargain hunting. Like if this was the economy, this thing would be on sale and it'd be a fire sale and people would be buying it like crazy. And then, demand would go higher. But that's not the way this works. People have fear that this is going down and they're going to lose all their money. That's not the way the economy works. So people that use economic indicators, interest rates, things like that, to predict prices in the market, these work two different, completely opposite different ways. And that's why it doesn't work. Just doesn't work. So,
Yeah.
and you could say people are spooked or people are scared. I mean, that's true. People are afraid they're going to lose all their money. People are afraid this is going down to $25,000. In fact, one of my VIP followers, my all access followers, said he's going to wait to buy his Bitcoin at 25,000. I was like, I made a prediction a couple of years ago that we would never see 25,000 again when we busted through it back here. Back here in September 23, when we left 25,000, I said that may be the last time we ever see 25,000 again. I kind of still stand by that. Like, I don't think we're ever going back to 25 again. But some people are convinced that that's where we're heading right now, even though we're sitting up here at 75,000.
Yeah, a lot
So,
of people didn't think we'd see 75,000 when we were at 90,000. Look
except
at 94,000 going across back and forth 94,000.
except this guy right here.
That's right. You called it. You've been saying that for a while. One of the very first times we got together, you were talking about the crypto winter coming up and how this could happen from 124 to 75.
I
I
was
thought
trading it
that,
like crazy with you up here,
yeah,
and then we did this spike, and I got spooked. If you remember,
yep,
like right after we did that, I was I
yep,
was
yep,
I did not like the way we jumped up there and then came down like this. I told you it was time to be very, very careful because
yep.
that can be the start of crypto winter, and we could do
Boom.
this. And here we are, a couple months later, right here at the top of my profit, our initial drop profit target. You know, I was targeting 72 to 75,000 on this drop, this first drop. I think, yesterday I outlined pretty in depth what I thought was going to happen. A rally, probably up into June or July, and then a bigger drop down here in the 30 to $50,000 area.
When would you think a rally would start? Because right now the way I look at it in my software, it has no support at any price. A guess would only be the guess to where it would bottom out, but it has no support anywhere.
This is the zone where buyers will show up. It'll churn right here probably for a week or two. Maybe make one dip down to the bottom of this support. Then if we're going to rally, it'll slowly start grinding up, kind of like it did right here, only it'll be bigger. Like it'll do this kind of crap right here. Over here. Probably out into June, maybe. And then we'll do another flush out like we just did right here. Over
Yeah,
here.
we need a little wash and hold right here, right? And a little rinse.
Yeah. So it'll probably do. Yeah, we don't have one of these big reversal candles yet. Bottoming tails is what I call them. We didn't do one of those. So we may get one before it signals that we're actually done to the downside. That's where the buyers show up. I don't know what other people call them. I call them bottoming tails. It's sort of, it looks like a hammer, kind of. Got a long tail, little short, fat body here. And that's usually bottoming candles. And so we did kind of two in a row. This one was very small, but these little bottoming tail dojis where you have a long tail on a doji candle. Those typically are bottoms. Now, they don't necessarily last forever. This one didn't last. We had one that showed up right here, but then we immediately took it right back. But it wasn't a bottoming tail. It was a fake out. And this one was a bottoming tail right there. And we tested it a whole bunch of times. And this one was a bottoming tail right there. Tested it, and then went higher.
Let's take a look at MSTR and coin.
MSTR, that's pushing down now.
Ooh,
120 is the target if we're going on down. 120 is the target. And then coin is probably getting punched in the face.
Obliterated.
And this one's coming.
That's strictly because the value of what's on deposit there is going down.
Well, the thing is, when the price of Bitcoin is going down, people are less likely to trade it. These guys make their fees on trading. If people aren't trading, they're not making money.
Nope. There's a lot of reason why Hood's going down. You called Hood technically perfectly.
Look at that.
Yeah.
in the target.
Yeah. I bailed Friday and I want to do some more cash secured puts here now.
Yeah, I would start looking at below 80 if you can find premium down there. Now it could bottom right here in the middle, right at 85, but 80 is right now. If this hits kind of an ideal bounce, we may see it dip right in this 80 zone and then come right back up. Now, I've been warning you about this pullback since back here in August, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was warning you we had a little bit higher to go, and then we would do a big pullback. And at the time, you told me that you just didn't see a big pullback happening.
No, been kind of surprised on this one.
And
But again, it doesn't matter. This is not a short-term deal. I'm going to be in and out of this for a long time.
And if we match, this is originally when I became a guru, I had a system that I was selling called Echo Trades. I still operate under that principle. I've just automated a lot of the systems that make up Echo Trades, and I sell it now as like Apollo and Triple Threat and Cashbot. This pullback right here, I'm a trend pullback continuation trader. Now, the funny thing is, pullbacks tend to echo in the market. If this pullback echoes, we could see Hood down at 70. Now, when we were up here at 150, you thought 70 was laughable. Now that we're down here at 87, 70 doesn't seem that far away.
Yeah, you're right.
So you got to be careful. If we do an echo in the market like we did, an echo this pullback we did early 25, Like I was telling you back in the summer, I was like, we could echo that coming into 26. And you were like, I just don't see how that would happen. Now here we are, and it's not, it's only $17 to fulfilling that echo in the market. Crazy as it sounds. Now we could hold up here at 80. We don't have to dip to 70. But this is the whole these pullbacks and trends and patterns in the market are how I've made my money, how I've made millions of dollars in the market. So I trust them. They've been very, very kind to me over the
You've been
years.
right on. You have been right on.
So this is how I do it, everybody. You come back, watch it every day. This is how I do it. It's not magic. It's not, it's just math is all it is. Just math and levels. I compared this run right here. I compared it to the run that happened coming up into that run. Went off this low up to that high. Bring it up here. And look at that. Almost the exact same size. It's the craziest freaking thing when you figure this out in the market, that the market tends to move in the same size moves and do this repeatably and then do the same size pullbacks. So that's why I was warning Jack that we were coming to an end on this move. We already did it. It was deja vu. So we could be coming to the bottom here. So if you're playing to the downside on Robinhood, there's probably not much juice left. We could bounce at any moment. We can start bouncing.
Just for the record, I do listen to you sometimes.
No, I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you don't listen to me. I'm just, I think it's funny to play off the. I think it's funny to play off the. You were a skeptic, and
I know you've proven
you were absolute.
Yeah, as many times you have how many times I'm laughing in my head, but not out loud when you're showing me this. Chris says I was too, and then it comes right, and I'm like, damn, you called that like. But the thing is months ago, you make a prediction, and I think you can't be right about if you're in the summer or August, you're talking about something that's going to happen in February. I'm rolling my eyes, but now here we are, and it's exactly what you said was going to happen. You do have a crystal ball. I don't care what you say.
I have another one that scares me even more.
Do I own it?
I hope not.
This thing. I tell you what, though, all of these fintech companies are getting crushed.
Look at this. I drew this target down here in 2022. I thought we would get here before this. Funny. But here we are at 42. I've been saying 42 for 4 years. Maybe I drew it in 21. I've been saying this 42 target for 4 years. I've been telling people, warning people not to get too hopeful on this because it was probably coming down to 42.
Using Elliott wave?
Yeah, using Elliott wave theory. And, I've had this stuff drawn on here for years. Basically, that was just right after I became a guru. I've been warning people about that. I wasn't even as good back then as I am now. And it scares me that I got this right.
So what do you see for it from here?
Well, we got to see it hold here. It could come on down to 34. If it doesn't hold, if there's no support here at all, 34. If there's no support there, 20. So I got to see it hold first. And then, this could be this can be the point where it builds something bullish, but it also could be the point where the company fails and goes out of business. That's the hard part about, is this the bottom or is it,
There's
look at that.
So much competition coming up for these guys too. Stripe's going to do an offering. It's going to be brutal.
Fintech's hard. And then you look at XYZ, and for their pivot to blockchain, it's never materialized. And that chart looks almost just like PayPal. It just hasn't dropped down as far.
Well, and
Chime starting to be a head and shoulders. So
take a look at Chime. Did you ever trade that one with me?
I don't believe we have. CHY.
Yeah.
CHYM.
So, a fintech is just a company that acts like a bank that's not a bank.
And, it's financial technology. It's applying new technologies to traditional banking.
Payments
and trying to skip around the regulations.
Exactly. Chime, Venmo, all that stuff. PayPal, same thing. Um, Trying
Well,
to look like a bank the other day.
Venmo's now owned by PayPal. You know, PayPal bought Venmo, and then you have Cash App. And in fact, my daughter got hacked on Cash App over the weekend, and her traditional bank, backed up the hack. So,
Yeah, this fintech stuff's looking worse and worse all the time.
and yeah, I I've been warning people, and a lot of our company people are really hyped up on SoFi, but I'm cautious on that one too. I
No,
think it
me too.
I think it may have played out for now. We may see a retrace back down in this area right around 15, 14 before we can make another run up to the 40s.
Never traded it.
I drew it on here, and look at this. We're coming right down. Just not as fast as I thought we would. This is another echo right here. Same exact principle as Robinhood right there. And what did we just say? Somebody in the chat looking for IBM.
I'm long that one.
He's getting punched in the face a little bit
Yeah.
today.
I sold the 320 calls, so I'm okay.
Yeah.
I've had this forever. There's no way I'm gonna back off this thing. This is in my core dividend portfolio.
Well, I told you this one was probably going to retrace back down to my support
Yeah,
line,
yeah,
and it's now in the zone to find support and turn higher again. So
yeah.
I don't have any big downside prediction here.
I don't have
Um,
anything on this. I'm gonna stick with this. This is I'll never sell it. I don't own any Adobe. One thing I don't own.
yeah, this is another one that I thought was funny. Everybody's been the story of the last couple of weeks is about this being a software company and AI's eating their lunch, but they started the correction here back in 2022. First move down, the retrace, next move down, and this has been my target since we made this bottom basically. I guesstimated this bounce right here and then guesstimated this, and I firmed it up as we made this high here in 23. This is where Adobe's going.
Do you like it enough to do a put spread on it?
The thing is, it can bottom at any point lower than this low right here, and today it's lower than that low. So this is played out. It's done. Would I have traded it up here for that? Maybe. But now it's played out. Like a lot of one of my VIP members was asking me today, like, what are the downside setups you would play in software? It's like, we're too late. It's already played out. Like this started in 2021, this correction. CRM started all the way back here. And now it's at the target. Like it's played out. Like there's only a couple bucks left to the ideal target to bounce. I'm not going to play the downside on these. It's done. Like we're too late. We missed it. Nobody wanted to short it. Nobody wanted to short him up here when we had the opportunity. Everybody thought I was crazy. Now everybody wants to short him, but we're at support. So now I think you're crazy trying to short it. I just and why not play the upside is because they haven't bounced yet. You don't catch a falling knife. Don't catch a falling knife. Like I've learned that.
I like to short something that's spiky like silver was, or something that's in a downtrend, but not already this far down.
Yeah, this is already like, think about it. The high was back here in 2021 at 700. Now we're at 270. It's down 60%.
Brutal.
So that's probably about played out. DPZ, I did short this one. I expect it to come down here to 250. But the problem is, how long is it going to take to get down there? It started the correction after this high right back here in 2021. I've been on this thing for a while, but it's probably going to take it a while to finish up the rest of the correction.
Did you ever get back into Levi's? I did the exact same trade with
I didn't do it again. I sold
either.
it. I sold it that one time, made my money, and walked away.
That's what I did. But I'm thinking about doing it again.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it's going to hold though. Is the problem. I feel like we were lucky on earnings, like that was the play. But now that we're kind of like being soft right around these lows, the low could get a little lower, maybe down around 1750. So if you could sell a 1750, that would be a better spot to be than up here at 1850 right now. But I'm always cautious. Like I take shots. If I'm right and I'm lucky, I tend to walk away, be happy I got it right, walk away, and look for the next one I look that looks like it's set up a good setup. Right? I mean, that's just kind of yeah. We do stream this on the Financial Wars YouTube channel, so that's a place you can find the replay of this right here.
All good. I
And
got a pretty slick trade that takes advantage of these short-term options.
I was gonna say, I think you got something you're gonna talk about here today, don't
Yeah, I
you?
do. Yeah, let me share the screen if I could, and I will see if I can't find something for you. Okay. How's that look?
Looks good to me.
All
Yeah,
right.
you're looking good, Jack. We can see your screen.
Yes.